In our last episode, our adventurers saw Moody Greyshaw arrive at the black market and hastily made for the exit, only to find themselves in a strange library. Things only got more bizarre as an incessant shushing filled the ears, not from a nosy librarian, but from a horrible, oozing black arachnid made of dark energy. Of the fighting and slaying the beast, the party watched it rise back to full strength before they awoke. Well, not all of them, as Buck had another strange dream of his past, his memories. You guys have had quite the strange occurrences recently, and now you find yourself outside of the black market within this library with the information that you have been attempted to be contacted by Delilah. What do you guys want to do?
Oh, I think we should go and find Delilah.
Yeah. 11's gonna get Quarry off and like brighten up their clothes. And I guess if we're heading out, we'll follow the rest of the party out.
The last of you to move this way is Buck, who has awoken from this dream, or these visions, whatever they were. And Buck, you feel a renewed strength within you, but it's hard to put your words on it. But as you look up, you see the other party beginning to head out.
Buck quickly scrambles after all of them, wiping the sleep out of his eyes.
All of you make your way out and make your way back towards the Black Jackal, where it was mentioned you would meet with Delilah once again. As you enter, you see she is sat at the bar itself, and sort of looks over at you as you enter with a curious sort of eyebrow. How did things go?
Buck takes a big step back because he does not want to handle this delicate situation.
Is everything okay?
Cato will step forward and clasp her hands and say, Delilah, we followed up the leads on your husband, and we found out his fate. I am so sorry to be the one to tell you this, but your husband is no longer with us.
I expected when I saw he wasn't with you. I see. I thank you for your work, at least. I suppose I shall be staying in the city a while longer. I cannot repay you for this debt, I'm afraid.
There...
And, they seem to sort of point towards the fact that they use most of their coin on the drink they're having.
Is there anything else that we can... Is there anything else that we can do for you?
No, you've done plenty.
Buck will nod and pay for one more drink for her before going back to a room. Do we have a room?
Yeah, you should still have the rooms you rented. I believe we said you rented them for multiple nights.
Yeah, so Buck will pay for another drink for her, and then he will give a big old stretch and be like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm still sleepy.
You see that Delilah herself has made her way towards the exit.
While we're still bruised, I think we should, rest now that the news has been delivered.
I'm wondering, how does that make sense anyway? I mean, did we really fight that creature, or did we not fight that creature? That's like a thing all Aernbeasts can do.
Wait. You guys had the big spider dream too?
Yeah, the one in the library with the big spider that made shushing noises.
Were you there when I was in jail?
You went to jail?
No.
You
Fall back asleep
were.
pretty quickly, so it must have just been a normal dream next.
What a crazy dream that would have been. Alright, I'm going to bed now. Good night. And Buck, waddles off.
You see the bartender sort of just smirks a little bit and says, "That's some upsetting news to give to Jessica. I didn't know she was married."
Jessica?
Yeah, the woman you spoke to. Used to be a frequent member here a while ago. Why? You look confused.
Well, she did tell us her name was Delilah, so, I mean, how long have you known her?
3-4 years.
You ever meet her husband?
As far as I knew, she'd never... Well, she was with someone, but... wasn't a... man.
The plot thickens.
Yeah, she stopped coming here a while ago, though. Can understand why, you know. Longer walk from her new place.
Oh, really? Where's that?
Well, she, moved into Rook's Gambit.
My jaw just falls onto the counter.
You look upset. Something? Did I say something to offend?
No. It's just I get the terrible feeling we've been played.
Well, it happens a lot in this city. Don't take it personal, I suppose.
What kind of person?
You all look absolutely pale. What on earth's happened to you?
We got into a bit of a fight.
Ooh. That's common too. I hope it wasn't anything too bad.
We're all here. I'm sure after a night's rest we'll miraculously be fully healed somehow.
Well then, you better get some sleep, huh? Still got your room set up, hopefully. If you want something in the morning, just come down and usual rates for breakfast.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Happy to be some help.
Peter will nod and head up to her room.
Yeah, I assume more of you probably head to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys head off, get some sleep, and miraculously heal off a lot of those wounds you had overnight. Stunning, I know.
Is Illyrian's hit points maximum?
Yes, that's restored.
Okay, thank you.
And once you guys are up in the morning, what do you want to do?
I suppose our next order of business would be That other Aernbeast that the Duke told us about.
Yes, that'll probably be the next step. We should go and track it down. Although I am kind of still, like, I'm a bit concerned about what Delilah / Jessica was after. I mean, like, who gets themselves locked in a box for a mission? And furthermore, like, if she just wanted us to go look at her husband, like, what was she actually after? Is this like some big plan by Rook's Gambit, or was she just like doing it for a lark or what?
I mean, didn't old Barnacle Wall guy call her Delilah?
Yeah, so that's what's confusing me as well. Like, are they two different people? Is she like got a second identity?
Perhaps she was pretending to be Delilah.
I mean, what did she get out of asking us to go to that cave anyway? Oh, anyway,
Maybe.
Sorry, go ahead.
Maybe it was an attempt to get rid of us?
I don't.
No, that doesn't make sense. Never mind. Sorry.
No, you should share ideas if you have them, but I don't think that in this context that would make sense. Well, I just don't think we have enough to go off of to make it make sense, I'm afraid.
I'm not much one for thinking things too much anyway. Buck looks stupidly proud of himself.
Well, maybe going out and hunting an Aernbeast will clear our heads a bit. Do you remember where the last place it was seen was?
I think we were told, but if I recall correctly, the Duke also said it attacked a keep, and people of the keep are... Well, the Duke said that nobody had been left alive except it did attack a keep, so that means potential witnesses there. I think we should perhaps pursue that lead first.
Yeah, so if I remember correctly, there's the huntsman in the north of the city, in the pseudo fishing hut. And for the keep, I think it was either the bannerman who we would have to ask at the representative's office, or if it was just the normal guards that were there, then we just ask the guards, I think.
That sounds alright.
So where are you gonna head then? You've listed your options. You've got multiple to go through. You've even got multiple avenues of things to pursue. What do you want to do?
We're gonna go killing a beastie. We should figure out what we can about it, because if it's anything like old Spider, I mean, I don't want any part to do with it, but I don't. He pats his chest pocket absent-mindedly. We gotta go take care of it.
I do think the keep is the lead we should pursue first.
That's fair. There'll probably be more people there, and they might have some supplies we could use.
So do we find the representative's office then and ask about any bannermen who might have been there, or do we ask the guards or whoever first?
Bannerman would probably point us to the right people. Specific people, so there perhaps?
Yeah. Oh, alright. Do you know where the representative's office is then? Because I don't.
Well, I'll say it's usually easy to find a representative's office in major cities, because in major cities the representatives are also Magyars, and Magyars live in large towers by where in which they have enough space to have laboratories, have their magical visits, but mostly because they need a tall tower for the resonance that they keep at the top of their tower. They are colloquially known as wizard towers. So, in a city like this, the representative can usually be found in the tallest tower in the city.
Oh, okay. And Ilarion would know that then, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. In that case then, Ilarion will say, I guess we find the tallest tower then.
I'm sure Kato would know that too, so Kato would nod knowingly and say, yes, let's step outside then, and I'm sure we'll spot it quickly.
You, roll me perception, whoever wants to see how easy it is to find this thing.
Let's go.
I'll try and roll it.
I got a 3.
17.
22.
Ilarion's too short.
Take a look around, and Sylvester, you're the one to notice in the Redis district, the residential district, this large tower sort of peeking from the middle of it, that you would assume would be your prime location here.
Oh, I think that's it over there. Looks mighty tall.
Head that way then.
You make your way towards it. The city streets are bustle and busy at this time of day, but you progress forth, and soon you find yourself approaching the door to this place, and inside you see a few people sat on chairs and this desk with a young human woman sat behind it who sort of like raises an eyebrow and says, "Oh, hello, can I help you?"
Hello there.
What do you need? Are you here to request a meeting?
Yes.
Well, if that's the case, and they sort of rub their hand on the back of the head, and then they say, what would the purpose of the meeting be?
Kato will flash her ring with the symbol on it and just say, I'm Kato Summersun, a diplomat of the Elonrine Empire, here on business on behalf of the Duke here. If we could get that meeting post-haste, it'd be appreciated.
My goodness, I see. Allow me to message him. And you see her eyes roll back into her head, and she begins to mumble in such a way that you cannot hear a word she's saying. Almost sort of like pushing her lower lip inside of her upper lip, so that no words come out, until her eyes roll back down. He has some spare moment now. Wouldn't be too long, but if you would wish to speak with him.
Yes, please.
You are then invited up these steps, this stairwell, not one but 2 levels up, to this large office area. These bookshelves on the wall surrounding you with all sorts of these very expensive and one-of-a-kind books within them. And you see he's actually speaking at the moment, the man behind the desk, with a drow man with white hair that curls down in a single sort of ponytail braid over one shoulder. This figure wearing black, gold, and purple and white as his colorations, and he speaks with him until eventually he looks over his shoulder and assesses you and says, I see you've other company then. Return another time. He turns and he walks sort of past all of you and sort of gives a small nod to you as he passes and heads downstairs. You now see in this large office, sat behind the desk, a tiefling man with these horns sort of protruding from his head, but his skin this genteel colour. Not skin colour. This is more pink, so to speak. A rose or that sort of colour. His eyes are a total black. And his general demeanour is a sort of positive smile as he wears this very lavish armour of Cypratan colours. He notices you and says, "You are a delegation from Melanria, yes?"
Yes, I am,
raises an
and I
eyebrow.
am also here on business on behalf of the Duke here.
Duke Kinnar. I see. Please. Come take a seat.
Cato will take a seat.
Well, what business does the Duke have of me?
How aware of you are of the problem with the Aernbeast?
The Aernbeasts? I've heard, nothing but constant talk of them. They are causing us a serious problem here.
Yes, we understand it attacked a keep, and we need to know. We were hoping you could point us in the direction of the people to talk to about that.
The keep? Yes. The keep's not exactly been in functioning order for some time because of the attack. From what I heard, the attack absolutely destroyed the place. The walls barely stand anymore. Left completely abandoned. You'll most likely find it if you were to head through our northern gate. About 20 minutes following the path until you reach a small creek to that left side of it. Turn and make your way there, and you'll be hard to miss.
Thank you for the directions. You wouldn't happen to know where we could find any witnesses of the attack, would you?
Not sure there's too many left around. You could ask the bannermen. They would be the ones stationed there.
Still be at the keep, even though it's been destroyed?
No. It's not operational. They either be at our southern keep, or there's a large platoon of them who are stored nearby to the Heighton to protect the manor houses. Ensure everybody is kept safe.
You give us directions to those places, then?
He sort of, doesn't, so to say, literally draw you, but figuratively draws you a map of how to get there, telling you which streets and which turns. So it's pretty easy to see that you'll be able to pick them up when you see them.
Okay. Cato will slightly glance at her companions to see if they'll have anything to ask or say, but...
Does you have any knowledge about the capabilities of this beast, or have heard any stories about its appearance, or...
Well, I've not fought many Aernbeasts, but the man who I was just speaking to is quite knowledgeable on them. He's a bit of a freelance sword, so to speak. He's killed many of the things.
Buck goes out the door and goes to try and find him.
The representative doesn't even notice you've left. Despite your large size, he doesn't seem to notice you're gone, and then sort of looks at the rest of you and says, I myself don't know much of the capabilities.
What was that fellow's name, in case you want to look him up afterwards?
Daer Aetish is his name.
Is he like professional monster hunter or something?
Not just monsters. He does anything work needed of him. From what I understand, he was a former member of the Order, left the academy and left his homeland and sought word here.
Well, thank you for the information. We appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Glad to do so.
Kato will slightly glance at her companions one last time, and if they don't have anything to say, she'll get up, offer a slight curtsy, and take her leave.
Yeah, Levin will give a bow before leaving.
Come again if you have another need of me. As you're heading after him, Buck, you actually do encounter him downstairs, where he is walking out the door.
Buck will lumber up very ungracefully towards him and be like, excuse me.
Sorry, can I help you?
Hopefully. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. My name's Buck Eugene McNuck. He holds out a big, meaty hand.
Quite a name, but not the strangest one I've heard. You may call me Daer.
Pleasure to meet you, Daer. Now, I was with my companions talking, and we heard tell that you know a thing or two about killing Aernbeasts.
I've slayed a few, yes. Quite a problem.
Right. I find myself in a situation where we are planning to fight one, and based on my potentially not real encounter with one, I am terrified of the things, and we were told that you may know a thing or two.
I'm knowledgeable on the matter, I suppose. More so than most are.
Would you be able to, I don't know, educate me and my companions so that we don't go into this fight and immediately get killed? Because I don't like dying, I like living.
Do you now? That's unique. I'll tell you what. If drinks are on you, I'll join you for a chat.
Yeah. Buck feels his coin pouch. I think I got enough. What's a few gold for being able to live another day, huh?
Lead the way. And as he says that, the rest of you come downstairs to see Buck already negotiating with this man.
Looks like you two have made friends.
Yeah, he says that as long as drinks are on us. I kind of like glance at all of you. He would be willing to teach us a thing or two.
Good job, Buck. And Kato will turn to Daer. Thank you for agreeing to take the time, and Kato will curtsy. I'm Kato Summerson.
I am Daer Aetish. That surname is familiar to you, but you're not sure why. I will say the way he is dressed almost puts you to shame. Into this dress, if he's not of nobility, he's attempting to dress like nobility. He wears this white shirt which is ordained with gold, almost borderings, and these beautiful sort of patterns across it. He has a black sort of pauldron on one shoulder, and across the other shoulder he lets this black cape droop. The inside of this cape designed almost like a galaxy in its design. He carries this sort of black wrist guard as well on this same hand, but while his left hand is covered with this white shirt. His right hand is covered in these tattoos. Easiest way to say them, or these inkings of almost a sort of strange Gaelic design. These very jagged, straight lines that almost seem to form a maze upon his arm, that almost seem to glow slightly. He also has this large purple sash across his chest and across his waist, and upon his face. I would say you definitely, Kato, would know, very common to see on Upagar Drow outside of Alanria. He wears sunglasses, as he's very sensitive to sunlight.
Could I make a history check to try and have him be more, like, the name be more than familiar?
Yes.
Alright.
Roll me history.
13.
You know the name belonged to a general in the War of the Collapse. You've no idea if it was him, if it was his father, a relative, or if he's merely using the name.
Oh, okay. Cato, in her introduction then, since he's dressed like that, would have tacked on the whole, I'm Cato Summerson, a diplomat of Alanria, the Alanrian Empire then, just as a note.
He sort of then amends his and then says, well, I am Daer Aetish, man looking for work and exile of a kingdom. Drinks are on you. I'll be happy to talk about Aernbeasts.
Yes. Let us head to a tavern then.
Lead the way. As you lead on, are you heading back to the Black Jackal?
How far is it from here?
It's probably the closest tavern to you. Well, there's a close one, but it's an upmarket sort of tavern. Ones that don't really like the rabble in that sort of place.
I suppose the Black Jackal, if it's one of the closer ones.
Okay, you return to the Black Jackal, and as you do, Daer sort of immediately begins to move himself until he's quite quickly sat down in one of the corner booths and sort of invites for you to sit with him.
Yep.
He calls out for the bartender for drinks, who then makes his way over as well. So, you fought one of these things before? I assume not, you're all still standing.
An odd occurrence. It was a dream because we woke up after we kind of defeated it, but we were injured.
A dream? That's something I haven't heard of before, dreaming of Aernbeasts and dreams damaging you. Sounds dangerous. I would advise not dying in that dream.
It looks like a giant spider which made shushing noises. I don't suppose you've ever heard of something like that.
Not one that makes shushing noises, but I have indeed fought with an Aernbeast of an arachnid sort of variety before. They are this sort of more common to see the arachnids. But there are Aernbeasts of all sorts of varieties.
Were we told kind of what variety the one we're currently hunting is? Do we have any hints towards that, or no?
Well, no one's lived to tell the tale.
Yeah, I figured that'd probably be the answer. Oh well.
Is there like a shared weakness that all beasts have? I mean, like, in my experience, most normal beasts have fear of fire or generally being shot at, but I suspect this one will be of a tougher cloth.
Well, Aernbeasts have this difference between them of different kinds. I've before have slain a Aernbeast with a carapace very similar to an arachnid, but when I slayed it, nothing happened. Whereas another one I fought, once I cut off its head, which I had done the same with the arachnid, the head simply reattached and it continued to fight. Only by depleting its power was I able to defeat it.
How did you deplete its power, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, that's something you may not be able to do. I was able to do so because of these. And he points to the tattoos that adorn his arm. These are Aether holdings. Quite common amongst members of the Academy, like I used to be.
Wow, that's quite something. I suppose there's any way that a normal person could get a hold of those.
I mean, you don't want to know what I had to do to get these, but I was not the same after that had concluded. I suppose you could, if it was an external power, you could find what was giving it that power and shut down the power at the source, so to speak. They are powered by many things, Aernbeasts, but what created them usually persists while they create. The two are linked almost. One cannot exist without the other.
Are they possible to reason with, in your experience?
How so?
Well, talk with them, try and resolve things without violence, I suppose.
I have not attempted. I'm paid to take care of these things, and I take care of these things.
Fair enough.
I mean, the one that we met didn't seem that, assuming that we did in fact meet it, wasn't that keen on talking, although I did try to talk to it like a common animal, which I suppose may not be something one would like if one had sapience.
Both tried talking to it. I normally and you with magic. It really only attacked us after Quarry fired that lightning breath at it.
I mean, who wouldn't fire lightning breath if you were stuck in a corner of the giant spider?
Sounds like this thing was quite the danger.
One thing about it, I suppose, though, is that the reason I said earlier we kind of defeated it is because, well, someone did land a finishing blow. It got back up again, but the dream ended at that point.
As I said, these things can persist through death if their power is strong enough. Sometimes a simple chop to the head is enough.
We don't know how strong the one is at the keep, but we can take a guess.
Guessing is dangerous.
Well, it's definitely not a creature to sneeze at, if nothing else. That's for sure.
Are they usually pretty observant? So I think the owner's saying something to cut them off.
Oh, no, sorry.
And I was just thinking that, I mean, the way our to hunt a beast normally would be to track it, watch where it goes and its mannerisms, and then come up with a plan to hunt it, but they're dependent on if it's possible to hide from this thing or not.
Not all of us are the most stealthy, and Kato glances slightly at Quarry's armor, but then looks away.
If I were you, I wouldn't pursue this thing at all. No offense to you. You all look like wonderful people. Absolutely incredible, but I hope you don't take offense if I say I think anything I could do, the group of you probably couldn't do combined.
Then
You seem new at this.
That's fair.
Then will you join us in taking it down? Maybe if you're willing. Anyway, the Duke gave us this job, and there's some decent money at the end of it. If you'd be
Kinla?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't met with Duke Kinla. Could be some interest for me, perhaps.
The monetary reward was 100 platinum, or was it 100 platinum? I'm remembering that right.
Yeah, it was 100 platinum.
The monetary reward was 100 platinum if we succeeded.
I could get that myself. Besides, I'm in Portisk on my own work as it stands. Looking
Okay.
for something.
Is there anything we could help with?
Mayhaps. It depends on your abilities. What you know, what you can do. I'm dealing with a odd occurrence.
Odd as in people getting barnacled to a wall, odd or odder?
That could be part of the oddness.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
Keenly, I'm seeking a, well, member of the council. Very much strange things going on with him. Tell you what, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You help me, I'll help you with the Aernbeast.
Seems like a reasonable exchange.
I think so too.
Good. Well, at the moment, I'm investigating. I'm sure you must have heard about it. It was all over the gossip of what any layman here speaks. Member of the council. Held a whole ceremony for him 4 years ago. Dead as a doorknob. He passed away in a ship-faring incident. Body was even found and located. And then, just 2 moons ago, he wakes up and acts as if not a day has passed since he left. Doesn't even remember getting on the ship. In fact, doesn't remember anything that happened during his disappearance, the year between his death and his body's re-emergence. None of it. Sounds odd to you, doesn't it?
It is odd. I'm not a cleric, so I'm not an expert in resurrection or anything, but yes, that does sound odd.
Resurrection's quite a difficult process, I'll tell you that. I had to do it for a friend of mine. He snaps his fingers, and a dagger appears between his fingers, and he begins to sort of, he plays with the dagger almost, like you would a coin, taking it from one finger to the other, except he does so with this very sharp, very dangerous dagger. He then sort of leans forward a bit to all of you and says, "If I could get an audience with him, it would be useful, but I want to know what happened when he was gone. Figure out, well, I have my theories about this re-emergence, about what's brought him back, if that even is him, after all. Strange things are happening."
What do you mean?
Well, could be someone in illusion. Could be a Doppler. Could be something wholly new. I'm excited to see.
It'll be a little while longer, and I don't intend to invest in it, but I could do the ability to disguise myself just at all times if I wanted to. Eventually, but I don't intend to invest in that, and that very well could be the case here.
Very well could be. All sorts of strangeness involved with this. There's a cold trail to follow, but a trail nonetheless. There was only 2 survivors of the trip on that ship. One of them, a blathering idiot who barely says a word, talks in complete nonsense now, strange parables of the sea. From what I hear, he's kept with safety with the Order of Paladins. The other, ship hand, a woman who went to seas with them. If you could speak with any of them, somehow, could probably turn this cold case into a bit of a more lively one.
Do you know where we could find them, I guess?
Well, as I said, you could probably get a meeting with the Order of Paladins to speak with the blathering fool, but the woman went missing. She was a strange one. From what I can tell, she was originally a sailor loyal to House Cyprata. Then, about 4 or 5 years ago, she began to do some more unruly business, and then a few months ago moved into Rook's Gambit.
Ah, hells.
And then went missing a few weeks ago.
She wasn't called Jessica or Delilah, was she?
Jessica, yes.
Son of a bitch. Well, that's interesting coincidence. As a matter of fact, I think we came across a woman who called herself Delilah, but then turned out she may have been an associate of Rook's Gambit with the name Jessica. I think so. There may be some sort of connection here, but obviously we'll have to go and try and find her again to provide you with anything concrete.
Well, if you do find anything of interest, I'm a man on the move. Never really like to stay in one place. Contact me through this. And he slides across the table half of a sending stone. Two of a pair, of which he holds the other part.
Kato will pick it up if no one else reaches for it first.
I was going to reach
you
for
able
it.
to do so?
Okay, no.
He then stands and says, "Once I know what happened to the councilman, we'll take down that Aernbeast together. Get you in favour with the Duke."
Well, it's an honor to have someone of such esteem working with us. Yes.
Well, I've other matters to attend to. When you have information, message me.
Pleasure talking with you. We'll keep in touch.
Do so. He finishes his drink and then stands and heads for the exit. Piracy is not only a problem in Port Isk, but all across the material plane, and the plane of seas, a transitional plane inside the plane of water. Estarion pirates were once a major problem in the former continent of Burrell, but after the collapse and the establishment of Eorsta, the northern houses established bombardier fleets designed to hunt down and execute pirates. The killing of pirates and sinking of their ships is legal for any country to commit, as long as there is proof of piracy, as voted on by both the Elfari Council and the Intercontinental Accord. This caused piracy to drop in the north, but new pirate coves to form in the south. House Cyprata has never had the fleet to deal with their issue, as the whole fleet is large in size, but small in the actual quality of the ships. Skimmers and bastions designed for quick conflicts rather than a sustained battle, meaning the pirate presence continued to grow and grow. So, you guys have met with the master of Aern hunting, Daer, who tells you of a curious tale of missing politicians returning, and a woman you know well, it appears, truly has been holding back a story from you. What you guys want to do?
Well,
we gotta
I don't
go
know.
find Delilah, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's either talk to the crazy guy or find Delilah. Although we might need to go to Rook's Camp to do that, and I don't think it sounds like a nice place. Personally, I think maybe the crazy guy might be an easier reach if we can talk our way into the Paladin's order, maybe.
Jessica apparently has disappeared, though, and it's already been a day since we last saw her. It'd probably be a little more prudent that we track her down.
Is it a bad idea to split up?
I mean, in like stories and stuff, it doesn't end well, but I don't see why we shouldn't try and expend all our resources, I guess. But there don't really have many ways of staying in contact or meet up later.
That's... I don't have any magic to reach out with you over what would be that kind of distance.
What do we know about Rook's Gambit anyway? I mean, that seems like one place we could go to gather some answers on Jessica/Delilah, but no, it doesn't seem like a very welcoming place. Alternatively, I suppose we could go around and ask about people who knew her, but there are probably a lot of women with that kind of appearance in this city.
Maybe we should ask the bartender.
Well, actually, I think
He did know.
you have. So go ahead.
Bartender did know where she lived. There's a chance he might know her address, maybe. It'd be worth asking at least.
Buck, do you have any friends who might know her? I mean, I know you've been in the city for a while.
I don't know. Is Rook's Gambit a place that Buck would have heard of?
No.
Buck shakes his head. Like, I'm afraid I'm as lost as you are, if not a little more so.
Last time your friend gave us a lead. Maybe, do you think your friend could know something about this? About this?
I think if we have the bartender to ask, that might be a better idea. I don't want to get yelled at again.
Okay.
Let's ask the bartender first, and if he isn't helpful enough, I suppose we can revisit Buck's contacts. Bartender. Kato will call him over to the table.
He sort of walks over and he says, he has sort of a towel over one of his hands and says, "What can I do for you?"
Jessica, you wouldn't happen to know her address, would you?
Current or former?
Uh,
Because I don't know where she lived when she moved to Gambit.
I suppose the former, then. Do you know?
You know, it wouldn't be her living there. I almost feel it would be. I can, but I wouldn't advise going there. You know, new people live there. Let me see. And he walks away. And sort of seems to go look through some books he has.
Probably won't make use of it, but I figured it's still better to know.
Mm-hmm.
He returns a little while later with a piece of paper which he places in front of you with an address listed on it.
How long ago did she live here?
4-5 months. Lived there a long time, but left to move to Rook's Gambit.
How do you get to Rook's Gambit, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, it's not too hard to find. It's enclave almost. It's like this city built onto the city, you know? If you want to find it, head to the Lowton, the poor district, and follow along the coastline. Soon enough you'll find the bridge.
Is it a nice place?
I've seen better.
Any reason why I should
I
want
won't
to...
say-
Sorry, go ahead.
I won't say I've seen any worse, though.
Is there any reason why she would want to move there in particular?
Be closer to work.
What's her job?
She, well, he seems to almost uncomfortably says, for a long time she was a member of a, crew.
And did something happen?
There was disagreements from what I heard. As I said, been a long time since I talked to her. I heard through the grapevine almost, but there were disagreements.
Do you know what the nature of that was?
Again, grapevine, couldn't tell you.
Do you know anybody else that was in that crew?
You have to ask there. Sorry.
Sounds like we're gonna have to go to Rook's Gambit.
Sounds like it.
Thank you very much for your help.
Yes, thank you.
So what do you think we should do first? Go to her old address or try and get to Rook's Gambit first?
She hasn't been there for a long time. I don't know if there's a reason to go to her old place.
I'd say Rook's Gambit first.
Let's go then, I guess. Hopefully it isn't too bad, I guess.
Oh, it's only one thing to do, as my dad used to say, is just put your best foot forward and hope you don't step in any poop.
Wise words.
Shall we?
Let's...
Yeah, I guess we're heading off towards Rook's Gambit.
So, leaving the tavern, you have to make quite a route to actually even reach the part of Lowtown mentioned. You were in the port side, which is sort of attached to it, but when you leave the port, you are no longer surrounded by ships and crews, stocking these ships. You are instead surrounded by buildings falling apart and almost a narrow drop straight into the ocean. But you see ahead of you, almost clearly they're built onto an island. There was an island here that has been built onto, but this very narrow bridge connects you to this large, expansive sort of city built onto a city. Maybe closer to a village in terms of its actual size, but it is very dense here. It would be hard to call it anything but a town, at least, with sheer amount of buildings sort of all shacked together here. And as you approach this bridge, you see there is a man standing on the bridge who prevents you from passing and sort of looks over and says, "Are you citizens or are you on visiting?"
Visiting, if that's okay.
He sort of shrugs and says, "Well, if you're visiting, you have to pay the toll."
much is that?
Insight check? Is this just extortion or not? Is this legitimate?
Yeah, roll me insight.
Can I also roll an insight check, please?
You have a feeling that maybe this isn't a legitimate thing, but you're not in a position to almost say no. He seems to hold the cards here. You gonna pay or what?
Buck is already digging through his gold pouch because he does not. He's very stupid.
How much is the toll?
5 gold for each of you.
Sorry, what?
Sorry, as a player, I didn't hear that. How much gold?
5 gold for each of you. So each of you would have to pay 5 gold.
Start sweating nervously with the, like, this might not be the best time to announce this, but I think after buying those healing potions I'm a bit cleared out. I only have 12 silver to my name.
I only have 4 silver to my name.
Kato has just been kind of quiet contemplating, and then, she's gonna cast Charm Person.
Ooh, okay, what's the save?
Wisdom. Yes, a wisdom save.
Alright, I'm going to roll a natural dice for this one. Let me see. That would be... Ooh. A 12.
Fails. Okay, as the magic takes hold, Kato gives a charming smile and says, "Are you sure you can't waive the toll this time?"
For some mates, sure, go on. He takes a step to the side.
Thank you. And Kato will usher everyone along. Once we're out of earshot, Kato will say quietly, "In an hour he'll know that was charm magic at work. So, probably won't have as pleasant time leaving."
Oh god. Can I like look around and see if that's the only bridge out of this area?
I'm not opposed to swimming, but that's also in my heritage, so... Well, that's something to worry about later.
If there's like worst comes to worst, I could throw someone across. But anyway, let's go about our business then.
Anybody in the streets that aren't guards we could come across and talk to? Or a tavern nearby?
There seems to be this tavern at the very center of the place. So if this building here, this very large sort of central building, almost like like the hub of the whole place. Seemingly not as busy as it usually is, but still people inside drinking, enjoying themselves. This place also has many rooms and the like as well. Seems like it's a place for people to stay, overnight when they are sailing, so to speak.
Perhaps we
Buck is
should
already.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Buck is already walking towards the tavern. He's completely forgotten why we're here.
Kato was starting to speak up to suggest going there, and then Buck's just already heading that way, so she'll just give a little shrug and start walking to the tavern as well.
Galarian tugs their jacket a bit closer and will follow afterwards. Keep just looking around nervously.
Right, you guys head in. Well, who you want to talk to? Where do you want to sit here? Many sort of seats in this place. Quite a bustling little place, even though it's not as busy as it could be.
Buck heads straight for the bar. Has a seat on the stool and signals the bartender over.
Kato will take a seat at the bar too. She thinks talking to the bartender first seems like a good idea. So.
Okay, you make your way to the bartender. Many sort of stools and take a seat in front of them, and they look at you and they go, and sort of smile and go, "What can I get for you, lovelies?" This orcish woman, orcs seem quite popular in these bars, sort of looks over at you and says, "Just so you know about that, we're almost full on rooms, so we've only got 2 for the night." Hope that's all right with you. Sort of keeps her eyes on you.
Oh, we don't know if we're staying the night, but we're actually here looking for somebody.
Who you after?
A young woman that we met named Jessica. We helped her out the past couple of days, and we had a couple more questions we wanted to ask her.
Know her name? Face? Anything about her? Too many disparate romantics come up to me saying, "You gotta help me find my lost love," and then don't know what the fuck they even look like.
Well, her name is Jessica, but she also goes by the name Delilah.
I see.
Looks like, insert description here.
Sort of eyes you up and says, "Not the usual sorts we have these parts, sir. What are you doing here, Someone like you, I'd recommend watching your pocket."
Yes, I will. But, if you could help us find her, we'd appreciate it. We really do have, we've been helping her, like Buck said. We really do have some questions for her.
You get this sort of nod and says, "Maybe I know him, maybe not. Used to say, I'd have a bad reputation if I was to tattle off everything I know about everyone who comes in here, wouldn't I?"
It's obvious what she wants. Can I just make an insight check to feel like if Kato does pay up, that it'll be worth it?
Roll me insight.
$15.
You honestly could say if this would be worth it. I'd say more likely than not.
Okay, Kato will put a gold down on the bar. I understand your predicaments, how it's hard to give up such information in your position. Does this help?
Well, it helps clear my memory a little bit. She's in here yesterday and today. Yesterday she came in saying she was dropping off something for someone before went off to the Black Jackal or something, I think. No? Today she came in for a proper drink and then went home. Good seeing her again.
You know her address, then?
I do. That I'm not saying.
I convince you to tell us, and Kato will put down another gold piece.
You see her, she almost like points upwards with her eyes, as if to say, like maybe a little bit more.
5 silver pieces Kato will put down.
Look for a house called the Withered Arm.
Thank you for the help, then. And Kato will push the money over. More towards her since it was just set on the counter.
Yeah, you get this nod and she pulls it away and says, "Be seeing you."
We get going then, Kato says to the party.
Do any of the patrons look like they're watching us warily or trying to listen in?
Roll me perception.
Perception is 10.
Nope, no one seems to be looking at you.
That's fine. Yep, let's go.
Hey, before we go, could I get one for the road? Buck puts down a silver piece.
Fine. And they hand you over a drink.
Buck takes it and then catches up with his group holding this big old drink.
Okay, you guys find yourself back out on the street, and you can have a look around for this house then. I'll say maybe a group investigation check.
Anyone can?
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's a group, so all of you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
15.
13.
Natural 1.
Buck got an 18 and he has a -1.
Woo!
Buck had a great time.
It was the beer.
Okay, you spend a long time looking around until you find yourself positioned outside of a house in the northern part. Not too far off the port itself, where there is a sign on the door saying the Withered Arm.
And Buck will point it out to everybody, saying, that the place right there?
Yes, it looks like it.
Okay. What do you guys want to do? You are here.
Can I look around from the outside just to see if I can see any signs of life or trying to...
There's light coming from the window.
Want to just walk up and knock on the door?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
Buck will do so.
Okay. You walk up, you knock on the door, you hear this long pause before the door opens. Before the door opens, actually, you hear this mumbling of going like, I thought it would be more than this, all that work and barely any pay. And then they walk over and they open the door a crack. They see you and the door slams.
Buck will knock again. Excuse me. Hello?
The door doesn't open.
I guess they're not home.
Are there any windows around, like, either the sides or the back of the house?
Yep.
Elaine's gonna, go around to see whether they can see anything through the windows.
You walk up to this window, and you notice it is open.
Do I see anyone running out down the street?
You see a figure on the street seeming to run away.
Buck is still
Elaine's
knocking
just-
on the door.
Elaine's just gonna shout, they're running, windows open though, and Elaine's gonna awkwardly give chase, I guess.
I'll
Kato
follow.
will too.
Yeah, I guess we're running.
Let me know if Kato ever gets within, I think it's, 30 feet? Yeah, 30 feet.
Well, I say you have 40 feet movement, do you? Or 45 feet movement?
Buck also can move very fast.
Yes, Buck can move very fast because you can uncanny action dash. So you can double dash.
Yeah, and I have mobile, so...
Yeah, and you have mobile. Okay, so you're the speedy one here. You are able to... It doesn't take you too long, actually. Like, once you get going, you're like a train and you just sprint.
And I can't stop very well.
Yeah, you can't stop very well, so I'll say you actually crash into her.
Yes.
And you send her flying into this cart where there's a bunch of fruit set up, and the fruit go everywhere as she crashes into it. And then you crash into the stall behind it and into the wall, and then you fall backwards and land on the ground with your face covered in bruises from hitting a brick wall.
Oh, no.
Someone
Buck is
yelled,
just
no, my cabbages.
Buck is just laying there, breathing so heavy from running.
You hear this merchant go, "No! Our wagon! It's broken!" And then you see she stands up and she's sort of grabbing her side, and then she looks at all of you and immediately begins to try and run again.
Elaine's gonna try and tackle to the ground.
Roll me strength.
Oh, this is gonna go terribly.
You can do
Holy
it,
strength.
wizard.
17.
Oh my god.
You knock her to the ground.
I'm just gonna sit on her.
And she looks up and she goes, leave me alone. You take a look at her. She has the same face, but her hair is white, and she actually has a scar over her lip that you haven't seen before. She dresses in this sort of purple coat with this grey shirt underneath, grey sort of overcoat underneath, and wears a tricone hat upon their head. And says, "Let me go, why don't you?"
Well, I mean, we don't intend to hurt you, but it seems like you've firstly been lying to us, and you seem to be mixed up in quite a lot of business that we might have some questions about.
You need to let me go. You want things staying good for you. She speaks in a very different voice to the one you've heard before.
We only want to talk. Can we please do that?
You only want to talk? I don't want to. Seems we're at a stoppage.
Do you want me to sit on her?
I mean, there is enough room, so...
That was mostly Buck trying to threaten her.
Roll me intimidation.
Kato will add to that by saying, he is a big man, I don't think you want him sitting on you as well.
Okay, that gets advantage then.
With advantage, intimidation. That's a 14.
You see she doesn't seem too intimidated by it.
I mean, we know now that wasn't your husband, so what were you after? Why did you send us to go look at that cave?
Why do you care?
I don't like doing things I don't know what the purpose is.
Don't worry about it. You said he's dead, so it's no harm done.
Charm person.
Okay. Let me roll it. 19.
Saves. Unfortunate.
Except he, isn't dead. We were told to tell you that.
What are you on about?
Are you more open
Where's
to...
the fucker then?
Are you more open to talking?
No, because now I know you're a bunch of lies. So I have no interest in talking.
As a you.
Yeah, but, you know, I trust myself. Don't trust you. I did what I did. The same reason I do everything else.
Money?
For money. Look, we were on the ship together. She was a nice enough girl. She wasn't going to be needing the payout, so I thought I'd take it. Just needed to make sure he was dead.
And you, fucked that up, didn't you? Excuse my language.
I got the payout.
I think Buck has an idea. Buck is going to start, saying, Illyrian, hold her still. I'm going to start searching her pockets to try and find the money.
Yeah, Illyrian will do their best.
As you do so, you begin to approach. You see a figure approaching you that simply says, "Release her!"
Buck will look up and see who is talking.
You see this woman dressed in full armor, other than a helmet, with a blade at their side, with some other men dressed in similar armor alongside her. Almost a form of, you could say, police force.
Buck will take his hands away from her pockets and turn to the guard and say, she's been lying to us and she's refusing to even talk with us.
There's a better way to handle this than what you're doing. More legal ways to handle it than what you're doing. I believe I'm owed an explanation here, and you're to release this woman now.
We'll let her go as long as you guarantee that you won't let her run away.
We'll guarantee nothing of the sort. She's a woman with special privileges in this parts, and you are outsiders who are barely allowed in.
Special privileges? What kind of... Who are you people?
We're the law here. What we say goes, and what we say is to release them. Don't want things getting complicated now, do ya?
I thought the prince was the law here.
We act on his behalf. Prince is a busy man. Are you to release her or not? Shall I have to deal with this more forcefully?
Illyrian's going to look at Kato and Sylvester.
I think we should probably do what the lady says.
Yeah,
let her go.
Illyrian will get up.
Now then. They look over towards The woman who's been lying to you and simply say, "You're requested to speak with the captain. Go now." She sort of stands up, dusts herself off, and walks away. As for you lot, you'll be coming with us for some questions.
How obvious is charm person? Can I make a check to make it subtle if it is?
No, you're not a sorcerer. Only sorcerers can silence spell, and charm person has vocal. So it would be very clear that you are casting it. The subtle spell exists for a reason.
Okay.
Buck is very nervous about the concept of potentially being arrested.
You then suddenly hear a voice scream. And you see the knights all turn around, and this woman turns around, and there is this woman in her 20s, maybe her 30s, rushing over with crying, and sort of grabs at the legs of this leader of the knights and begins to sort of cry. They took him. My poor baby. He's gone. See, she goes, what's the situation? What's going on? I don't know what... It came in. It took him. Buck, you hear a noise from behind you. From the rooftop.
Buck will turn and look out in the roofs.
You are looking at the night sky above you, and all you can see are two glowing red eyes. Before you blink and those eyes are gone.
Buck starts pointing nervously. Did anybody see that?
See what?
See what?
Oh no. There were big old glowing eyes up on that roof there, glaring down at me.
Sylvester, you hear... You're not sure how far away, but from your right side, this. And when you look in that direction, you see on the rooftop some glowing red eyes.
Would I know what kind of creature would make that kind of sound? Does it sound like bestial or something?
It sounds like a hound or a wolf.
I hear it as well. It seems like some sort of creature. It's a sort of hound-like thing. So I sort of point to where I can see it, where I saw it anyway. So nervously taking my bow off my back.
You see the woman herself, this knight captain, sort of looks at one of her men on the right and says, "Take a look at that thing, why don't you? See if you can figure out what we're dealing with." You see the man grabs for his sword and begins to head towards the rooftop, when suddenly he falls to the ground, as on top of him is almost this pile of shadows which begins to almost claw and tear at his chest, and he begins to let out this pained scream as it bites at his neck. And the woman and the other knights pull out their blades, and you hear them yell, "The Aernbeast, it's here!"